Oh, okay. As I sit here at 3 o'clock in the morning reading this letter that I wrote about 4 months ago, is a suggestion that comes from other people. This was written to the my employer and to whom it may concern. Thanks for passing along to me information that the state DMV in Florida has recently described my driver's license as revoked. So far, over the past 15 years, the traffic police have not taken me off the road. I am currently in a state of application for a Wisconsin driver's license. I have lived in Wisconsin most of my life. I was planning to attend another truck driver school in Wisconsin. I was in a similar situation previously for many years in the 2010s. That was approximately 2013 to 2020. Authorities in Wisconsin and Texas had me fill out a small pile of paperwork and talk to me in several brief traffic court appearances without a lawyer. I carried a modest pile of forms in my back seat. All the Milwaukee lawyers that I telephoned 12 years ago said the cancellation of my driver's license was political. It was not a matter involving car crashes or speeding tickets. They said it was safe to keep driving and to ignore it. They said driving itself was a form of evidence. I have never caused a car crash. I have never been found guilty of a misdemeanor, felony, or any type of crime. And by the way, I should mention that at times I've been known as a person who's under some sort of unlawful invasion of privacy, some sort of illegal electronic surveillance, electronic harassment, and blacklisting. I have never been found guilty of a misdemeanor, felony, or any type of crime. That's what I mean. The people who perpetrate the blacklisting that type of crime should be found guilty of those things. I have never been diagnosed as suffering from any known illness or disease, including alcoholism, drug addiction, or any form of mental illness. In browsing the recent email message from my independent contractor employer, I saw you consider each dasher's individual circumstances on a case by case basis. If you read the following, you might agree with me in concluding that my case is likely a political matter involving the issue of satisfactory employment and getting a steady income from my two self published suspense novels, Unequivocal Malice at iUniverse and After Dark at Booklocker. And then I go on to mention that I've been unemployed for the past 4 months and that my car was rear ended, causing $8,500 of damage approximately a year ago. Since I was rear ended last October 2nd, 2024, that's over a year ago, traffic police have encountered me on the road. This is in various states, and Wisconsin, in Wisconsin and Texas, and some of the states in between. Encountered me on the road or parked in parking lots or walking in parking lots or at rest areas. Oh, that's been now over 40 times to examine the crash damage with me to the trunk to double check my temporary left turn apparatus in my back window, to investigate my driver's license, and to double check my active auto insurance with State Farm. The police see me on the road almost every day and have not blocked off any of my food delivery work. I should say I don't know. I believe some of these are case by case basis, but when the police look at my driver's license and things like that, that seems to be a case by case situation. If it's a political matter, it's possible that they're likely not to attempt to punish the driver or take the driver off the road. They have had police officers who have had their driver's licenses suspended or canceled, and they've continued their employment as state or government police officers. I have heard of those cases. Actually, the police first started telling me about canceled driver's licenses back in the late 1980s, which at that time I always had a valid driver's license. I'll continue here. Many police and other government workers have encouraged me to keep doing food deliveries until something better comes along. Beginning in 1989, the Wisconsin Traffic Police have advised me not to devote too much time to the hijinks in the rearview mirror, not to accept any other motorist's occasional bad driving as being a natural part of the plan, and to concentrate when you're driving on the front windshield and what's in front of you on the road and the road ahead. Now, I accidentally flipped this too much. I go over some of the car crashes, I believe, after I left Georgia and the Southland. An 18-wheel Class A program in Wisconsin extended a better offer. I believe I was mentioning here that I was at a truck driver school in the summer of 2024. My PAM instructors at that truck driving academy were willing to recommend me for a government-assisted, because of my financial condition, a government-assisted Florida Class B license. They were not willing to recommend me for a Class A license. I was eliminated from PAM's Class A truck driver training after 2 weeks on the Lakeland course. After I was cut by Pam, I traveled to Georgia and Wisconsin doing food delivery. I should mention the first time this truck driver stuff came up with me, and obviously if I'm constantly having many years of canceled driver's licenses and that kind of thing, that's an interference or could be viewed as harassment. But the first time truck driver training came up with me that I can recall was twice in the 1970s. One summer, to get money to go back to college, I was at the Harley-Davidson headquarters in downtown Milwaukee. This was before they had all the Harley-Davidson motorcycle shops around the country. And I was working at their factory plant in Milwaukee. I believe it was not real far away from Family Field, the brewer's home, not real close to it either. And so I was working in their mailroom and loading dock, and they offered me permanent employment at Harley-Davidson. They asked me not to go back to college in Madison, just to stay with Harley-Davidson, and they were not interested in the liberal arts degree and maybe to take some more college classes at night, but they weren't dependent on it. So they said if I stayed at Harley-Davidson, they would, in addition to the mailroom, they would train me for a forklift license, and they would also train me for probably a Class A truck driving license. Also the same year, I'm going to guess that was approximately 1978-79, I was working with food, my first restaurant job, 2 houses down from in my neighborhood in Madison, Wisconsin, from the fraternity where I lived at that time, Theta Chi. And so I was working at the Wisconsin Alumni Restaurant, operating their dishwasher. And so I was on the payroll of the UW-Madison, and they offered me permanent employment also. They asked me not to return to Milwaukee to visit my elderly parents, but to stay in Madison, and I could conceivably take some classes at night, and they didn't need to know about them, once again, because only a Bachelor of Arts, not real relevant to many jobs, not a business major, not an engineering major. I'm no good at that type of thing. So they did ask me at the UW Alumni Restaurant if I would stay there permanently, and I was driving a small truck with a passenger driver's license at that time, and I was operating the dishwasher machine. Most recently, I was offered truck driver training at a school in Wisconsin.